So today on NewbieVeT, got a special guest. We got my boy, the art dealer.
Yes, sir.
So what's going on, King?
Cool. What's good with you?
Finally got you on the platform, man.
Yeah.
Man, I've been trying to get you locked up. You've been busy.
Yeah.
Been busy. Just dropped the video. I seen the other day on your Instagram. I forgot the name of the song.
Maybe that's off the Art District.
Yeah, it was you and a guy.
Me and Art Love.
Yeah. Okay. How that record going?
Pretty good, man. We got an EP we had released. That was on Black Friday called Love from the South Side. It's a collaboration between me and him, and it's going pretty good, man. Great reception. We've been trying to tap in and connect the Carolinas with what we got going too as well. Okay. So it's been dope.
I like your sound. It's different. It's a different sound.
Yeah.
And that's why I like different. I like to hear different stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up, man. So let's jump into it, man. So you born and raised in Augusta.
Right.
What hospital?
I want to say it was Humana back in the day.
Humana?
It was where Doctor's Hospital is.
There was a Humana?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm old Augusta, bro.
Like St. Joseph.
What year?
Yeah.
What year?
It's the 80s.
The 80s. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you basically grew up in Augusta in the 90s.
Yeah.
So you was around that booty shaking era and all that when it was popping up down there.
I hated it. I hated it. I always had a love for hip hop, but I didn't really get an appreciation for that part of music until later on, getting into events and seeing how people enjoy parties.
Enjoying parties and stuff. Yeah. So you coming from Augusta, what music did you grow up on?
My first influences was like Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, okay.
Ice Cube. I got older cousins and they had like the NWA tapes and stuff like that.
Right.
But I was too young to really have that, but I would listen to what they listened to.
Right.
So it started from that, and then when Outkast came along, it was like
it's a rap. Then
it's a rap. They sound like
so you was in the Goody Mob, Dungeon Family, and all that.
Oh yeah, definitely heavy, big fans, of all of that.
Yeah. Okay, cool, man. Okay, so basically, and your cousin them got you on Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So they used to listen to like what? The early Ice Cube records, like
NWA, Kill At Will, Kill At Will album.
Okay.
All of that, like all the gangster rap, they was into that heavy.
Okay, so when you started listening to that music, like what drove you into doing the music, like getting into it?
It was something about it that was, it struck a certain emotion. Like Ice Cube, when he talked or when he rapped, it was like an aggression.
Right.
That, you know what I'm saying, you weren't used to, because the only thing you knew prior to that was R&B or the hippity hop, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you didn't have that. I never experienced that prior to that.
Yeah.
So when I got to it, it was like, damn, this is hard.
Right. So you didn't listen to no other hip hop before Ice Cube, or?
I've heard stuff like whatever was on the radio, but as a kid, I wasn't old enough to really go buy music.
Right.
That's why what they were playing. You know what I'm saying? Going to like my grandmother's house and what they were playing.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that I picked up on first.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, and when you start like getting into the music and stuff, like what was like some of the steps that you had to take, like finding the studio, or did you have a studio that was accessible to you? Or?
Be honest, like my mama, she's a classical pianist.
Oh. Okay.
And she has a lot of musicians that's friends here, and there was a guy named Anthony Ferris who plays keyboard, so he had a studio behind a Regency Mall in his house.
The old Regency Mall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and in that little neighborhood back there. And I recorded my first little song. I can't remember the name of the song, but he had like a chord keyboard and a mic and like a little small mixing board, and that was the first time I recorded.
Yeah. Do you remember that feeling though?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you got it.
It was like a bunch of different, it was like nervousness and then all that, because when you rapping to yourself, that's cool, but then when you there and you trying to create, you like, damn. But nah, it was fun. Like all my friends were like, wow, you made a song for real. Okay.
My uncle owned 4 Corner Records.
Who?
Sarah.
Oh, I worked there.
You did?
I worked started working there in like '99. 4 Corners.
4 Corners. What's 4 Corners?
Store.
That was like the underground store. Like that was the go-to shop for Augusta.
For real?
Yeah.
If anything you wanted.
Anything you wanted.
My uncle got so creative. He was selling all the dope paraphernalia. The dime bags.
Hangman scale.
Hand scale. The dish
So where was it located at?
Right there on the corner. Okay, so you had actually 3 different locations. You had the main one was right there on Lumpkin Road and right there Lumpkin and Deansbridge. Then they had one in they had a booth in the flea market down by Meadowbrook, and then they had one that was like on Martin Luther King too. That was further up, but that was a little older. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I didn't know that was your uncle. Yeah, me and Sharon go way back.
Oh, okay.
I danced for.
Yeah,
Since I've been home.
and see that's the other thing. Like when Sharon was performing and stuff like that, like when he had the group main feature with Troy and them, it was once I got into like music like from that side, I understood it more.
Yeah.
I never. When you in the club, a woman dance to it, you know what it is.
Yeah.
But back then it was like, I don't want to hear that. Yeah. But now I understand where it came from and the whole element. Just like the Jam Pony joints, like
I used to hate Jam Pony.
I ain't never really hate Jam Pony. It was just like, man, that nigga be talking some cash shit. Like,
it was like, it was like at the time, it was like, cause during the time when the Jam Ponies came out, they had maybe like 6-7 songs that you might wanted to buy, cause you probably didn't want to buy a whole album. Mm-hmm. So you buy the mixtape just for a certain song. Yeah. But you can't even enjoy the damn record. But see, talking shit. That's
the thing. That was the when I started working in that shop and learning how the tapes was. It was almost like remixes. Right. So I know what you're saying. You like, bro, he got this new song that ain't nobody else got on his tape, and I want this song. Right. But he got that for him to remix it, almost like how they do chopped and screwed music in Texas. Right. It's the same thing. Like, and the dudes in the streets, bro, that's what they want to hear.
That's what they want to hear.
They want them takes, bro, bad, bro. Yeah. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I learned so much from that shop right there, man. It's crazy. Right. From that, when it turned into all about music, all of that, man.
Yeah. He's a pioneer. Saran is a pioneer, man. Anything you wanted from Jam Pony, Ghetto Style DJs, from DJ Jelly, MC Assault, Big all that.
And that's the other thing about the mixtapes too. Just like that, how he's saying. So with Jam Pony, you know what he gonna do. Right. When you want the Jelly Bean mixes. Yeah. Jelly Bean was gonna take them acapellas and mix something totally different, and it's gonna be a whole new song. And it was the same way with like DJ Bad Boy, Green Lantern. It's a whole era.
A lot of them DJs have disappeared when as far as time went by.
The internet,
they disappeared.
The internet, because it took the money out of it. Yeah, see, back then you had to come to that shop to buy. So let's just think about it like this: you had to come to the shop to buy a CD or a mixtape, and that same CD or mixtape is gonna be anywhere between $10, sometimes $20 a pop. Right. But now you got it on the internet to where all of us in this room can download it for free. So we ain't got to come see you. Right. So then the DJ who's selling it to us wholesale, we not selling as many CDs. They not making the money. So eventually them guys just kind of like, they just quit. Right.
Yeah, most of them now is in the strip clubs in Atlanta. Florida DJing.
Because this same thing happened. Because then when the phase that switched from there was you had the drummers, the DJ Screams, all of them guys come through, and they was giving away tapes. Yeah, they were. Like they were coming in and bringing, like Techniques came in and brought a batch of mixtapes and was like, sell these, if it worked, we'll buy some more. And then they transitioned on to producing, managing artists, touring. So they got out the game. The only thing you got left was some guys, handful of dudes on the internet. But the thing with the internet is that shit allow anybody to do it. Right. And that's kind of what fucked the game up. Yeah, that fucked the game up because now it's just like...
It's an all-out war. It's like an all-out gauntlet. Mm-hmm. It's like a gauntlet, man. It's like being on a game, an army game. It's like 100,000 soldiers on one screen.
Yeah. Trying to do the same thing.
Doing the same thing, man. So when you start doing music, you started doing music in the tape era, right?
I was in the CD era.
Yeah. Okay, so in the CD era, so you was around when the CDs cost $1, $3, for a CD for one, because of the manufacturing. It's cool who you went with, disc makers.
Oh no, it was more expensive than that.
Yeah, I'm talking per CD.
Yeah, no, it was more expensive.
Yeah, so.
See, when I came up, a batch of CDs, so like the smallest batch you can get from like a disc maker was like 300 CDs. But that shit gonna run you 1,200.
Hell yeah.
And then you got to ship it off and wait for the motherfucker to come back. Yeah. But when I go to Four Corners, CD Warehouse, Pyramid. I'm doing consignment on my CDs, so then I'm getting $10 a pop on my CDs.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? So you make your money off of it as well. And then shows was different. Music artists was doing their own shows.
Right.
That like it wasn't no opening for nobody because you couldn't even, to be honest, they weren't playing your music on the radio except for like maybe 11, 12 o'clock at night. Right. You might be able to get on somebody's mix show or something. Yeah. So you doing your own shows, but back then when you did your own shows, you had your own following. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you doing 150, 200 people, you know, you had your millionaires and players who might be throwing 600, 700 people in the building and they getting all the bread. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So when you start coming up on the rise in the music and Augusta scene, what year and who all was around at that time when you started rapping and you started making your name in the city? Like
the early 2000s. So like the main name was the Franchise Boys, which was Millionaires and Players, Verbal Abusers, Maniac and Illegal Soldiers. They were like, that was like the go-to.
The go-to.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like they literally would come to the shop and drop off a box of flyers, so like on a Monday for a party on that Friday. Mm-hmm. And by the time that Friday came, you got 500, 600, 700 people in the building.
God damn.
And no radio, none of that. Wasn't no social media, wasn't no Facebook, MySpace. MySpace wasn't even popping by that time. Right. So during that era, that's where I came along. And I actually was in a duo called The Dynasty. Okay. With me and my partner Keith, and that's where that started from. Okay. And we like Keith and VTech are cousins. Okay. So you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like watching them, trying to follow what they was doing, stuff like that. Yeah. And that's really where it started from. Okay. But cool. And I ain't gonna front, it was a struggle, but looking at it now, it was a lot better than what you think.
Talking about trying to get the name and stuff out there back then.
Yeah, cause back then if your music sounded good, they gonna buy it.
Right.
They didn't even care, like you know what I'm saying. None of the other stuff that you deal with nowadays, it didn't matter. So it's nothing for you to go in and I drop off 20 CDs somewhere and $10 a pop. Boom, I gotta come back again and re-up and bring another 20 and bring another. And then you had, like I said, you had CD Warehouse, you had Pyramid, you had Four Corners. You had after a while you had Titanium Music. You had so many different you had probably about 5 or 6 pockets. So if you got 15, 20 CDs in each of them spots, $10 a head. Yeah. You know what I mean? Every couple of weeks you coming back, that money coming back sweet.
That money coming back sweet. Yeah, exactly. So doing the music, man, when you know doing the CD, during the time you were doing the music is during the CD time. When do you notice that CDs starting to be obsolete and it was going to the digital era? Like what year and like what was you thinking when all that when you sat back and started looking at the landscape of the music?
As far as so what part you mean like
far as what year was it when you realized that everything is going online now? Like they put more music online more than they push the CDs. Record stores are closing down. Like different things. Like when was it?
That was more like that was probably like more like 06, 07. But it wasn't that first. What happened was the mixtape started going to the bigger stores. Right. So you can go in a Best Buy and buy like a Gangsta Grill, DJ Drama. Yeah. And then eventually
LimeWire.
You had LimeWire.
LimeWire came
You had LimeWire. You had Napster.
Yeah. It made a lot of people money though, because a lot of people was making money off LimeWire.
But it was depreciating the game though.
Yeah, it was killing the game.
Because they didn't realize that you could get more money this way, but the accessibility kind of just killed it all.
Killed it.
Yeah.
Then the piracy came in, so now then they changed it up where the artists have to go, mostly get attention digitally.
Yeah, what they did was they figured out a way to create streaming services to where they can control the money.
Yeah. So do you think streaming services? What are the pros and cons of a streaming service to you?
The only pros to it is that it makes your music accessible to the entire world. Right. The cons is everything else.
Yeah.
Like I said, accessibility, so everybody's doing it.
Right.
The money is nowhere near what you can make.
Right.
It's just, and you have to invest so much money for such a small income when it comes to that. That's why more people rely more on performances.
Right.
As an artist versus streaming. Yeah.
Because you don't make money off music really no more, really, unless you got merchandise or some type of.
Right. Now merchandise you can make the money off of, because just like the artists are packaging, you know, Prince was probably one of the first ones to do it, where, you know, he went on tour and then you buy a ticket to a show and then that got you a copy of his album. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, you had to switch it up that way because streaming still is.
It's killing the game.
Killing it, yeah.
Killing the game. That's why you see more artists doing more different things in their prime now than it used to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. So, do you think, from your experience, and from somebody's watching this that want to become an artist, do you think signing the artist is signing to a label is a necessity, or you feel like it's?
It depends on what type of career path you want.
Right.
If you're looking to gain the notoriety and get the buzz and get the big platforms, definitely get a deal. Okay. Because they still control those situations. Right. But if you are looking to build a long and prosperous career, definitely go independent. Don't sign.
Right. Exactly.
Unless somebody just gonna bring you a sweet deal, but honestly, they don't do nothing but wait for you to do all the work.
Right.
And then come along and try to offer you a piece of the pie.
Right. So they can get a large percentage of what you already made.
Right.
Right.
When really, if you just keep it going, you can get all the money. It take a little longer. And it's more work. It's more money, and it's gonna take a little longer.
Right.
But yeah.
So I know you did a lot of shows. You know, just in your career. Have you? What's the most recent one you did?
I was in Columbia. They did shout out to the Coalition DJs Carolina. They did a toy drive. Okay. They do one every year. It's their 5th annual one this year, and that was the most recent performance, which was last weekend. Okay. Yeah.
So out of all the shows that you've done just in your whole career, is there any change in far as how the showcases were on the shows and the concerts back then compared to all to they are now? Pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah, I mean, when you performed back then, it was because you were performing in front of a fan base.
Right.
But now what happens is people have short attention spans, and there's so many things fighting for their attention.
Right.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially with so much on the internet. You know, everything in your phone where, you know, you got new apps, you got new this, you got, you know, this thing going trending, this on Instagram going, Twitter's doing this. Now you got Clubhouse. You got all these different things that you're fighting for now.
What is Clubhouse?
I'm figuring it out now. It's a new app.
I've been seeing a lot of posts about it.
Yeah, it's a new app, and I got people telling me to get on it.
What is it?
It's a new app. I ain't even figured it out yet.
What is it, a dating app?
Nah, It's like rooms, but it's like, you know, the same thing with anything else in social media. If you're into investments, they got rooms for investments where you can network with people. If you're into music, dating, whatever the case may be, it's platforms for it.
I have this thing about with social media platforms. My thing is, I have them, but I have a theme with them. My thing is that there's a new app that's, like you said, be created every other day, every other week. And then you have artists that'll take out the time and make an app for that, make an account for that. This is my opinion. I feel like when you having so many, as an artist, you trying to push your music, and you having so many accounts on different platforms, you're separating your audience for one. You know what I'm saying? You're not putting them in one certain spot where they can be accessible to your stuff because you're separating it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I feel like as artists, if you're trying to get that fan base, it needs to be at least one set place that you need to tell people to go to check your stuff out instead of you sending them to TikTok, Snapchat, this.
But see, that's the thing. The problem you have is every artist should have a website.
Right.
Those other platforms should just be channels to send people to your website.
Right.
And the only reason you want to make sure you have those channels is because you're going to have some people who, they just like Twitter. They don't like everything else.
Right.
Or, vice versa. Right. So the only thing those things should be doing is sending people to your website.
Right.
Which that's my goal for the next year, is to go ahead and build a rapport with your fan base that you control.
Right.
Because if one of these apps decide to close,
you messed up.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm glad you said that, man, because like I said, that's another, like, you see with Boosie.
Yeah.
Like, Boosie having a fit on the strength of he lost his Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
He made so much money off it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, they shut it down. What can you do? Because they can easily block our page anytime they want.
Anytime they feel like it.
So, like you said, it's hard for them to block something that you the creator of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that was some real stuff what you saying as far as with that.
Everything should be channeled. You shouldn't just be existing on that one thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because you have some artists, like, they make their whole career off just social media.
Yeah, it's a tool, but you can't rely on that. Like, I pay attention to how artists build, like, email lists or either text blasts and stuff like that, campaigns that way. That's the best way to do it, because you got a direct line with the individual.
And it's organic.
Yeah.
And it's organic.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Okay, cool, man. So, getting into getting later on now, COVID hits.
Mm-hmm.
So what was you doing when COVID hit Augusta?
I was in Charlotte when COVID.
In Charlotte.
Yeah, I was in Charlotte. So when COVID hit, in Charlotte, at first I thought it was gonna be something that we was gonna be dealing with about a month. And the thing that's crazy is, I got a single I'm finna release on the 1st of the year, but at that time, that same single was supposed to be pushed right before COVID. So we sat down. I got a few, shout out DJ Pratt. We sat down and mapped out a plan to do a tour of the Carolinas. So we was going to connect the Carolinas on back. So we had probably about 12 different cities we was going to hit. I had just tapped in, about to shoot a video so I had a meeting that one week. The next weekend I was supposed to shoot a video. And one by one, everything just started falling apart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had booked, and I didn't realize what was going on at first, because I was like, okay, this thing is bigger than what it really seemed like. And, we had rented like I had one guy I was shooting with. We was going to rent a film studio in Durham to shoot it, stuff like that. But one by he like, yeah, man, they say they closed, and we trying to find other spaces or trying to come up with alternative. Everything was shutting down, and I was like, wow. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll be down about a month or whatever. Nah.
They did say, 30 days?
Yeah, Most people think it was, thought it was gonna be something that, about a month or two, you'd be right. Nah.
Then you start seeing the news, cause it's like, even during the COVID hit, cause when COVID hit, it was like the riots was going on at the same time.
Yep.
And you had all the police brutality going on at the same time. So it was like stuff on top of stuff on top of that other things too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you felt about during that time when the police brutality and the rioting and what all that was going on? Like, what was your mind process about all that?
I was angry, but when you from the South, you know what I'm saying, and you came up in that era, that ain't nothing new to you. Right. The only thing that's different is now it's exposed on, through phones and cameras and social media. Those things have been going on for the longest. The only problem is now people are being held accountable because now the world sees it.
I can see it, yeah.
Now you can't tuck that, you can't tuck that away and hide it from nobody. Yeah.
And it's good, and it's also kind of scary too, because it's like you got to be on your P's and Q's now, because if you come into some type of confrontation with someone or anything like that, you gotta be prepared to be on your A game, because it's finna be recorded.
Yep.
It's finna be
recorded some kind of way.
It's finna be recorded.
Yeah.
And it's sad, because back then people used to break it up, or if it was something mutual between the two who want to fight, they let them fight and then brush it off. But these days,
nah, they ready to shoot and film the whole thing.
They film the whole thing, man, the whole thing. So, man, what you think's going on in hip hop today? Like, far as all the deaths, the rappers killing each other and stuff like that, man. Like, what's your concept on that?
The worst thing that ever happened to hip hop was bringing the streets to the internet.
Damn.
And that's the problem you got right now.
Why you say that?
Reason being was because, see, when I came up, and regardless of what you're doing, if you were like into cars, if you were into sports, if you were into, you had to earn these positions.
Facts.
If you was in the streets and you had to earn that. You couldn't just wake up one morning and say, "This is who I am."
You damn sure couldn't just walk to nobody blocking you.
Nah, you couldn't walk to nobody nothing and tell them about nothing, unless you have earned those positions.
Right.
And what has happened is, introducing the internet, you introduce regular everyday people to a lifestyle that they're not accustomed to. So then they're functioning and doing things, and it's messing up the whole culture.
It is.
It's destroying it, because now you got kids doing stuff that they ain't got no business doing. You know what I mean? You destroying people's families. Right. Honestly, you weren't even supposed to be involved in that life at all.
Yeah. Cause I mean, you have a lot of people that just get in, like you said, just get in the game. They'll get in the game because they might did a catchy song that was, caught wind at a good time and, pushed them to stardom and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, like, people hate me for saying it, but I hate Old Country Road, the song.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it. It just grinds my gears. I hate it. I just hate it on the strength of it became the record of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It kills me. Like, it beat Michael Jackson. It beat Prince. It beat every musician ever made on this fucking planet.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, Old Time Road.
Mm-hmm.
That lets me know, like, yeah, things are...
That's just technology, though.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's all it is, because I'm quite sure there's some records that probably beat out Donny Hathaway or Al Green, or any of these legends that we that we consider. I guarantee if you check their sales don't compare to what a Drake is doing. But the only difference is Drake can wake up right now, go in the studio, record a song, it can be out by midnight tonight, and probably by Monday be platinum. You couldn't do that back then.
Hell no.
The technology wouldn't allow you to do that even if you wanted to.
Right.
So that's all it is. It's just a product of the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So naturally, that's why a lot of times things, and that's what I'm saying about technology with the internet and social media and people involved in lifestyles that they shouldn't. Right. It makes everything accessible to any and everybody.
Right. Right.
So.
And that's how you get all that the adult content, different things online and stuff like that. So, are you a fan of the OnlyFans app?
I mean, they making money off of it.
Yeah, a lot of people making money. Cause I've also seen a lot of people flip it. Because OnlyFans, well, when I first heard about OnlyFans, I didn't know what it was. And then the people that I sent it to me, most people that sent me a link or something, they were showing sexual stuff.
Right.
I ain't into that. Right. So, but then I seen some people get it, and actually use it for their brand. Mm-hmm.
That's originally what it was for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was originally what it was for.
Yeah, originally was for that.
So we made it that way.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. The people made it with it. That's why it's called OnlyFans, but it wasn't OnlyFans for the purpose of, for sex or strippers or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Nah.
Right. That's just like Facebook. Facebook wasn't made for a marketing thing.
Nope.
It was made for
college kids.
Yeah, college kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's during the time when Facebook came out around the time of Black Planet, wasn't it? Black Planet?
Black Planet was before
came out.
Facebook.
Black Planet, yeah, it was before Facebook.
Yeah.
You saying, yeah. So, but yeah, man, the technology, man, it came in, like you said, it's opening up a new wave of just a lot of things that just disturbing a lot of elements, because even R&B took a hit. Yeah. Big hit.
Yeah.
A huge hit.
Yeah. Because now people can go in there and turn on auto-tune.
Right.
And they can go sing it. And now it's the norm now. Before it wasn't. Before, T-Pain and Future, they got a lot of ridicule. Now it's second nature now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that allowed people who didn't have vocal ability, who didn't grow up singing in the choir, who didn't perform with bands, who didn't do all of those things that our other singers did.
Yeah.
That gave them an opportunity to come in and just...
Because because times has changed, like you said. Because back when we coming up, a lot of our parents made us go to church.
Right.
And a lot of people that play music came from church, singers, background, things. That's why we got a lot of soul singers from the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. But it's like now time changed. A lot of people don't go to church no more. So it's like, where did they get their singing from? Cause in church, in some churches they train you in your vocals and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like now, most of the kids now, they just sit back and just watch TV and then listen to music and try to, if you've been blessed with a voice, you've been blessed with it. But some just, like you said, the auto-tune. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, it give them opportunity. They really just, most of the time, it's been a long time since you've heard an artist that came through that was just totally different from everything.
That's true.
For the most part, they're all like to me, you had like Andre 3000.
Right.
Because back then when he was doing it, everybody was like, what is that? We don't want that.
Right.
Then you went from there to, I guess what, T-Pain?
Yeah, T-Pain.
Yeah, T-Pain. Then you had Future. You know what I'm saying? Which Andre was there. Then you had T-Pain who actually knew how to sing. Yeah. But, he used the auto-tune to the effect. And then you had Future who came up with a sound. And then you had the Drakes who can't sing. But use that. And just now everybody does it.
Everybody killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when Drake came out, man, Drake changed it up where he made singing cool. But
he also made it for people who can't sing. To be able to be cool. Like, he really sing out of note and be like, and people love it.
They love it.
Yeah.
They're like, they love it to death, man. They love it to death. But,
hey. I'm waiting on the new album.
I see, he love it.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, I like Drake. I think Drake was a dope rapper.
Yeah.
To be honest, I remember when Drake came along and it was the comeback season run and then he did It's So Far Gone. And people was like, some people was on it and some people was like, man, who is that? And I remember that he performed at Georgia Southern for their homecoming.
Right.
So me, my sister, and my homeboy, I went down there and checked it out. When I tell you, he killed that joint. But this was before, like, Best I Ever Had, all of the other stuff. Yeah. But it just, man, he caught like wildfire.
So let me ask you this question, man. I asked a lot of artists this.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think Eminem's a top 5 rapper of all time?
No.
A lot of people say that. Why you say that?
Okay.
Even though now he went platinum.
Okay, so we finna really, we're gonna go there. I'm just put it all out.
No, I just want to hear.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Eminem is a guy who learned. It's almost like basketball.
Yeah.
It's almost like you got somebody who know how to dribble.
Right.
He can dribble. But he don't really have that killer instinct.
Right.
He don't have that aggression. Yeah. He may not be fast. He may not be strong.
Right.
He may not have that IQ.
Right.
Eminem to me is a guy who's a technical rapper. He can make stuff rap. He can do that. Yeah, he know how to do certain stuff, but he don't have that flair.
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying?
So that's like watching. Let me say Doncic. Doncic kind of nice. Doncic's nice. That's like watching trying to think of a good guy. It's like watching comparing what's a buddy that went to New Orleans? They came from Boston. He just got traded to New Orleans. He played for Boston last year. He got hurt. He had broke his leg or some shit, his ankle. He used to play for Utah. White guy.
You talking about Gordon Hayward?
Gordon Hayward.
He was Charlotte.
Yeah, he was Charlotte. Yeah, he was Charlotte. That's like Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Skill.
Right.
Two totally different.
Totally different. One knows the technical parts of the sport. Another one knows that. Plus, he got an IQ and he know how to really move. He got his own flavor. So if Eminem is not in the top 5, who's in the top 5 to you? My top 5 will be naturally Jay-Z. That's gonna be the first. Okay. I'm definitely going. Andre 3000 is my GOAT.
Okay.
Big Boy.
From Outkast?
Okay, yeah, both of them gonna be in my top 5.
Okay. New Big Boy or old Big Boy? New Big Boy be on some bullshit sometimes.
No.
I think he's transitioning like how Flow Rider and
right.
And
he's been that, but he's kind of been that way.
No.
I'm talking about he's been on the Southern type style. But I'm talking about doing with the Speaker Box project. Yeah. That's when he started going to that wave like that.
Yeah.
Because they was smart, man. Do you know majority of the people that really buy music, that really goes on these internet sites to buy the music, is mainly foreigners and white kids.
Yeah, those are crowds you want. Those are arena crowds.
But that's because he's already everything else. He's already gang. See, so this the part about Outkast that I love that most people don't really know. A lot of people praise Andre 3000 now, but when Outkast was in their heyday, a lot of people hated Andre.
They hated Andre.
They did not. They thought he was a dope rapper, but the singing, the dress codes, and all of that. Yeah, they used to hate all that. Big Boy during that time, I remember he had like a slew of features between Missy and Missy. You had
Jay-Z.
You had Jay-Z. You had what's the other joint?
He was on
Trick Daddy. Yeah, he was on so many records.
Yeah.
And Dre wasn't on them records, which part of that had to do with probably he wasn't doing features as much, you know what I mean, during that time. But yeah.
But they said Dre was always a loner. He's always been a loner.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Big Boy, man, he showed everybody that he could adapt to West Coast, East Coast, South, and do it all.
Yeah.
So I
would say,
I feel
so Jay-Z, Outkast, for me it's a tie between Scarface and Biggie. And the reason being,
you're the first one to put Scarface in your top 5 on NewbieVeT.
Because
why a lot of people sleep on Scarface?
Because he's from that old school.
Yeah.
It's not like when you think about Scarface, the only thing you got is him and the beats. He don't do all that singing.
Right.
He's not going crazy with social media.
Right.
He's from a time. He's from his core audience is from a time that's before all of this.
All that.
But the thing about those two, and the reason I say this is because between storytelling, it's a tie for me. Because when I hear them rap their stories, I can see it.
You can see it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's a tie for me, but them two.
Scarface always been there, even with Ghetto Boys.
Yeah.
He's always been that guy when you paint pictures.
Yeah. And then my last would probably be Big Crit.
Big Crit. Okay.
Yeah.
Big Crit made the top 5. Okay.
Big Crit.
Okay. Wow. So you got some good roots, man. So okay. All right. So when it comes to like I tell people, you got the top 5, then you got the ones that, when it comes to like artist wise, like they played both lines. They might be an actor and they might do music.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I tell people, they sleep on Will Smith.
No, I don't think they sleep on.
No, I'm talking about people who sleep on Will Smith as an artist. As an artist, I'm talking about as of today, they don't give Will the credit far as of a lot of the music that he's done, far as like music wise, because. Like for one, a lot of people was new when he did the music with Jonah Lucas, the song with Jonah.
Yeah.
The Will.
Yeah.
He killed it.
Yeah.
Yo.
But a lot of people act like they were surprised about that.
That's why I
think because
I know why they were surprised.
Yeah, because they never thought Will could do that.
No, it's a new age.
But it's not even that. But see, it's not even that. A lot of times, and this one thing that aggravates me, is in this new age, if it didn't happen while they were living, it don't exist.
Right. That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
That's backwards to me, because when I came up, like when I was a kid, like some of the early records I would listen to was like Bill Weathers and Donny Hathaway and stuff like that. When I was I hadn't even experienced no blues in my life at that time. But but the thing about it was, when you heard music, if you liked it, that's just what it was. You know what I'm saying? And then you wanted to find out, well, who is this? Or why did they make this? Why did it sound like that? You know what I'm saying? Right. Now it's like, if it don't exist before that. Yeah. I remember one time, I'm going to tell you something that was funny. I was in the car, my homeboy, little sister was in the car with me. And the radio was on. Mario, Just a Friend came on. Okay. But it was the remix. And the remix had pieces of Biz Markie in the joint.
Oh,
and she was like, and she got mad, was like, oh my God, they keep putting these rappers all over the song. I'm like, bro, that's his song. What you talking about? She was like, what? I said, that's his song. That ain't no Mario song. It's Mario's song. But I was like, yo, man, this is wow, bro.
Because there's no history. It's like, like a lot of the artists.
But they don't, but that's the thing. They ignore the history.
They ignore the history.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost like I said, what? Who is that? Oh, I don't care.